Welcome to Prayers Radio. Wow. This is show number 29.
29.
Well, today this is Prayers Radio. We're about prayer, Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind prayer to be exact. And today is awesome because we have, what are you, fourth generation or third generation with your mom?
Fourth generation. My mother's third, so I'm fourth generation religious science practitioner.
Kyle Moore!
Yay.
We had your mom on. No, she kicked butt. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing. I'm pretty proud of her. I'm pretty proud of the fact that I was raised by her. She is really fundamental in teaching me this philosophy, and I'm really, really thankful to have been raised by such an amazing person.
And that being said, this is about prayer. Would you like to pray us?
Of course, I'd always love to pray.
All right.
Okay, so let's just set on to this moment and begin in recognition of that one mind, that which we know as God, that infinite source, that beginning, that truth, that which is God. And I know that I am and we are one with and of God. We know that there is only God, so we recognize our unity with Source. There is only God, so we are of God. That is the truth. And so in that knowingness, here's what I know of and for us, is that tonight is a night of love, of power, of wisdom, and just of joy. We just live in this joy of this moment right here and right now, and we celebrate it. We celebrate each other, and we celebrate this audience. We celebrate just being alive in this fullness and the wonderfulness of spirit. We live in love for all of humanity, love for ourselves, and that love that is completely just given, fully, easily, and effortlessly, because we know that it is an infinite abundance given to us, so we can give it freely, openly, and effortlessly. And we just live in this moment with each other in just pure gratitude for the amazing power of prayer, gratitude for the amazing conversation we're about to have, and the amazing hosts that are hosting this incredible product. So thank you, God. Thank you for the amazing power of prayer. Thank you for the ease in which we can use the laws to create our lives. Thank you, God, for this wonderful evening of wonderful experiences. Thank you for everything that I'm about to experience, because that is of love and of truth and of joy. And so I release this prayer here and now, knowing that as the words were spoken, it was already made manifest by God. And so it is.
And so it is.
You beat the minister once. We got the hook in case it gets too long. Anyways, I think some of our things say, long prayers, long thing. You get a minister going, they're going to go. You're going to be a good minister. So here's the deal. I want to hear about Kyle Moore. I want to hear about I know she's your mom, and tell me more.
About me. So I am a fourth generation religious science practitioner. I grew up through, having science of mind in my life, but not really knowing that it was science of mind, just knowing that that was my way of living, and I was in love with it. And then I got to become a teenager and go through the CSL teen camps, or at the time it was the RSI teen camps, and got to really explore what new thought and science of mind and religious science meant to me. Not just here's these terms that we use, but really get to explore it and co-create it, identify it to me. And so that really helped, cement that foundation in my life and in my heart. And then I got to go on and become an advisor, help more teens create and join in that on their journey instead of just doing my own. So that was amazing because I got to really experience the growth of others. Through that, I realized that, this most incredible thing in the world, prayer, I could just do that and be even more involved instead of just the youth. And so I became a practitioner purely out of kind of wanting more for myself. And through those classes, I discovered, first of all, if anyone ever wants to take those classes, they're the best set of classes you can ever take. They will change your life in ways that you cannot explain ahead of time, because you so thoroughly dive into your own beliefs and thoughts and see what you're actually creating instead of just what you're saying you're creating. So I love those classes. I will be the biggest shouter of those classes. And then from there, I got to join my mother in teaching more classes, and I have just set sail into discovering what I want my next path to be in this movement. I know that my life is with New Thought. I love that. And so, I've started giving power talks, and which are just, little 5-minute talks at church, right around 5, and kind of discovering, do I want to move into more of a youth and family role? Do I want to go into a head speaking role, or do I just want to continue on in my journey as it is and let it, be revealed to me more later? Because I'm open to whatever God wants to give me. I think that the possibilities are infinite, and so I'm gonna, at least for today, be open to whatever comes my way.
That
And
sounds
we are
great.
truly blessed to have you here. One of the things that for our audience, you have a newborn, right?
I do. I have an 18-month-old, so not quite a newborn anymore, more of a little toddler, but he is awesome. He is the coolest little thing. His name is Dylan, and he is just running around like a madman. The kid is either asleep or running at full speed, and I love it because it just shows you the fullness of life and how much they take in as wonder and amazement, which causes me to view it as wonder and amazement again. And it's just the best way of viewing life. And so, yeah, I have a little toddler, but it's the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm in love with life every day. I have a loving wife that I adore, that I look forward to growing old with and spending the rest of my life with, who we are raising our child together. And it's the best. It's the best life I could imagine for me.
And you're doing it with prayer, with Science of Mind. I can speak to his stuff because my daughter was raised in it, and you had a good part to help on that. So this philosophy
Good
is
head on my
wonderful for
shoulders.
children. So I'm bringing that up as in our prayer stuff because when they get older, they go, "Oh, I can do a prayer." And when they're doing it, they're like, "Man, I don't want this."
Well, that's the best part, is even if they don't know that they're doing prayer, it eventually becomes revealed that, like, oh, wait, this way of thinking isn't what a lot of other people believe, but now I have proof that it's working. So these little things that got implanted over time, just little by little in your ear, that you kind of went, whatever. I get what you're meaning, but I don't know. And then you kind of stumble and you realize, like, oh, you caught yourself with that. And now it really is this foundational thing that you didn't even realize was built up so strongly over time because you tested it and tested it and tested it and tested it.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, is we don't always have to use the right words with the teens, right? I don't expect them to know, the creative process and how to explain it and all that. That doesn't matter to them. But the fact is that they know it and they experience it. And so now they're creating their lives in this perfect way.
You're a prime example of that. And like I said, my own daughter, I've seen it work with her. It manifests right in front of her. And you've done it too. I mean, we've talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, would you like to ask the first question?
Well, I was wondering off key, how has prayer been a pivot for you where you are now to where you were before?
So prayer has always been a part of my life. Like I said, I was raised in this philosophy. I didn't necessarily understand the steps or, do it in the kind of foundational way that I do it today, but it's always been a part of my life. I love that quote of, every thought is a prayer, every moment is a meditation. So, I know that I'm co-creating my life with God. So it's always been for me. Yes, I have found a more formulaic way of doing it, and that's been really instrumental because it's kind of allowed me to clarify my thoughts and really get to what I'm going to, what I want, and really be kind of more specific. instead of just having these thoughts rush around and be like, I think this is, but I don't really know. So yeah, instead it's allowed me to really kind of get to, okay, let's sit down, let's use some prayer to clarify first of all what I actually want, and then let's use prayer to create. So it's become, the use of the formula has become really instrumental for me in being clearer, but prayer has always been a part of my life.
That's perfect.
What is that formula that you talk about? Tell me a little bit more about that.
The formula, the 5 steps.
There you go.
So I always begin in recognition, recognition of that which is God. Join in with, or second step is unity. That which is I am. That's the truth. That is the foundation of prayer. If you can recognize that everything is God and that you can recognize you are one with and of that infinite power, then you can co-create. So then you can just declare your truth, that which is, because it is known in the mind of God. It is. We give thanks just because thanks is one of the most important, powerful things you can ever do, not just to God, but to everything. It just makes life better to be in thanks. And then we release. And the reason that we release is so that, especially for me, so I stop trying to control it. So I can say, look, I've tried. I'm done. God is more. Let's let God do it, because God has this way. God doesn't, have to be limited to these hands. God is without time, without space. So that which is known has already been set in motion. So that's why it's amazing.
Now we had Reverend Dean on, and he talked about doing the 7-step prayer. What are your, you and I have talked about this, so I'm bringing it up. What are your thoughts on the 7-step versus the 5-step?
So I think the 7-step is a useful tool. I used to use it a lot, and then I listened to a minister who changed my mind about it. And because I realized that if the doubt is creeping in that I need to release, then I have not really recognized and unified. So I used to use the 7 steps when that doubt would creep in and stuff, and I recommend it highly for a lot of people. But instead today I now really focus on recognition and unity. And then if that doubt really does creep in, then I can stop. I can think about that. I can then go back to the beginning, really recognize and unify, and put that as part of my declaration, rather than having to re-recognize. It's just, for me, I have found it more in line with creating if I just start over. So that's not that it's wrong for anyone. People, you need to find what works for you. And I implore people that if they love the 7-step, use it. I used to a lot, and then I just found that for me, it was more powerful to start over, to just begin with recognition again, to just say, whoa, 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 that's not the truth. That's not God. Let's go back to recognizing what God is.
And that's what prayer is about, is that it has to be for the individual and how it works for that individual. I mean, Paul and I have talked about that. The 3rd step, to recognize, unify, declare, and then some people use other things in the 3rd step itself. But I myself use declare, and I think, Paul, we've had that discussion before on that.
Yeah, whatever mode gets you into that consciousness of one with the unification of the intelligence, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as, I find that my best prayers are the prayers where I do the least amount of thinking, where it just seems like it's flowing from the source rather than from my brain trying to push it through.
Yeah, flowing from your heart, not your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's from source. And so I love those prayers. And, as I have grown, I have found my way of making it less forced and just allowing it to come through. And those are my favorites. And so my thing is, do what works for you. There is, there's a formula, and it's not rigid for everyone. I know people that don't start necessarily with recognition, unification, declaration, thanksgiving, release. That they kind of skip around, and they're beautiful prayers, and they create amazing lives too. So do what works for you. The formula is there to help teach, to help create a foundation, and then when you have created your own thing that you find works even better, do it. Ernest Holmes left this open at the top for a reason. There, we have discovered laws that work, but we want to make them even more perfect. We want to make them even more exact. Over time, we've made math more exact and more perfect, and we want to do the same here. And
Well,
we,
it's not that we want to make it more, we just want to experience what's already there. Yeah.
yeah, do we want to discover the law, in greater and greater ways? There's, lots of things that I hear that I, might disagree with or whatever. But that's through my own experiences. And so, my challenge for you is to find what works perfectly for you. We'll discover the laws together even greater, and we're going to make this even more precise each and every day. We're going to just reveal it. And that's why I think this is such an amazing philosophy, is because we can, discover new and discover even greater and be open to even just greater possibilities.
Paul, next question on that one.
Yeah.
The day, probably.
Hey, how do you stay grounded in prayer on a daily basis?
How do I stay grounded in prayer? I just pray. I mean, that's the easiest way to stay grounded in prayer, is to just pray.
To use it.
And it started off as forcing myself to pray every morning, and then having to call a prayer partner every afternoon, and then having to write a prayer every day. And it started as that, and it was just a journey to get myself into it. But now it's just a part. If I feel elated, I go to prayer. If I feel sad, I go to prayer. If I feel, excited, I go to prayer. If I feel calm and centered, I go to prayer. I wake up and it starts with prayer. I go to bed now, or not I go to bed, but I send my child to bed every night with a prayer. It's, just fun to get to experience it at all times. And then to just remind myself that if every thought's a prayer already, might as well create the life that I want. So I try and be really direct about it a lot, because I know that I'm already creating, with my thoughts. So why not make them, the best thoughts I can?
Right.
There you go. That kind of covers the triggered question. We don't need to ask that one because you already answered it. When you're in doubt, what do you do to get out? We already said prayer. Let's see. Evolving prayers. That's
I
the
actually
good one.
answered that one a little bit different, because I saw that question.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about something because it brought up something in me that I thought was kind of cool. And I thought the original question is like, what do you think about doubt? And I want people to hear this as something that is like actually pretty important. Doubt is one of your best tools. And I mean that seriously. Don't believe anything that we're saying. It's not true until you've tested it for yourself. And when you test it and you build real faith, not blind trust, but actual faith, that's when you'll turn to this and you'll see these amazing results. And that's one of the things that I really, really loved about my mom, that I love about Ernest Holmes, is that we're not told to just blind believe what somebody says, but we're told to go out there and test it and test it and test it. And then when you do actually test it, you will see that this actually works. And then you will really turn to prayer in all moments. You will really begin to co-create your life, because you will know that there is a power that actually works, rather than just saying, I don't know, I heard some guy on a stage say it, so I suppose it works. You heard some, radio say it, but really doubt it. Really doubt it. And I think that's why I have such a strong conviction, is because my mom told me to. So I went, yeah, I'm going to test every single button on you, and I'm going to push you, and I'm going to question everything. There were times in practitioner school when I would not yell at her, but have really strong conversations with her, like until midnight, because I was like, I don't get this, and I don't know if this is correct, and I'm not just going to accept it. And we would talk and talk and talk, and it would finally click, and I would go, oh,
Mm.
wait, this actually does work. Rather than just saying, yeah, I read it in a book, it works. So,
Yeah, this,
I just, when I first saw that question, how it was written versus how it was asked, I really loved the written part, because doubt really can be a powerful tool
mm.
to create faith. And then once you have faith, real faith, then you'll really create.
Yeah, we always say on this show, don't listen to us, folks. Test it out. We've got 30 shows of this saying no. Try
Yeah.
it.
That's the whole point, is that you're going to get different opinions from different people, and somebody's going to hear something that's going to resonate with them. And so, yeah, listen to the different episodes, because you will. If I'm not necessarily resonating with you, great, find somebody who is, and listen to them, and then test those ideas. You'll find something that works for you, I promise.
Yeah, Ernest Holmes always said, "We don't tell you we don't tell you what to think. We tell you how to think."
Exactly.
And thinking from the heart, that's a key.
Yeah.
So,
That's I think that's a great point. Sorry, go ahead,
Yeah.
Rich.
No, thank you for bringing that up. That was great.
absolutely. How's your prayers evolved over time? I think you've covered that where you said test it, and I'm going to just beat it up, and then if see how it goes.
Yeah. So, like I said, my prayers really, like, I remember, like, really kind of starting more in the affirmation space and doing those, and then, like, I remember I can actually quote my first prayer ever that I did at teen camp, which is because it was written on a folder. And it said, God is dot dot dot, I am dot dot dot. And so my very first prayer was, God is love, I am love, I know love, I give thanks for love, and so it is. And so, I began with that, and then realized, like, okay, wait, there's more. I don't have to be afraid of this formulaic thing. It's actually kind of easy once there's a formula. I can just plug and play. And then, from there, I really kind of discovered my own voice in it, and discovered, moving to that 7-step process, and then listening to somebody else who really resonated with me, move back to the 5-step, thought, have explored my own voice in it, and just learn to trust that which comes from within, rather than trying to force it with my brain. And that's the real thing that's happened for me, is I don't try and force it anymore. I just let out what's in.
Good deal. Next question, Paul, before we run out of time here.
Hey, how would you explain this philosophy to someone that's not in this philosophy?
I would explain it as part of the New Thought movement. So we, as Science of Mind, are part of the New Thought movement, which comes from the idea that there is only one, that one is God, and I am and we are of that. That there's, specifics about the Science of Mind, coming from Ernest Holmes, the Science of Mind textbook, things of that nature. But I would really kind of, bring it back to the fact that we're a new thought faith. That, if you want to discover Science of Mind, start with, the beginning principles of New Thought. Begin with that, idea of that we are all one of and with God. And then we can dive in a little bit deeper. But I would try and leave it kind of open and exploratory, and just kind of with that idea of that we are one with and of God, and that there is only God.
We're almost at the 5-minute mark, so we're going to shotgun these questions now.
Okay, I'll try and spit the answers out quick.
All right, let's see. How does your spiritual mind treatment show up in your life? You already talked about that. So
Every
let's
day,
go to the
every
next
way.
one. What's that?
I said every day, every way.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, do you have a favorite Ernest Holmes book?
There you go.
It's yes.
Hard to do, yeah.
I think that it's, the kind of lame, easy answers are, this thing called You, everyone loves it because it's really good. But as I've grown and I've read it more and more, I think actually the Science of Mind,
The textbook?
It didn't, yeah, the textbook, because I didn't really like it at first because it was difficult to read, man, for me especially. You know, I just struggled with it at first, but as I've gotten older and really started to peer into it and really kind of discover my beliefs behind everything, and now I've got a fully noted up, highlighted version. Really, that's my favorite.
Yeah, as you get older, you dive more into it, and then it reveals itself more to you as
Yeah,
your consciousness is growing.
exactly. Yeah, it really was difficult and not not easy for me for the longest time. And now, like I said, my one of my copies of it is so highlighted and marked up that it's almost illegible now.
What's your favorite Ernest Holmes quote?
Life is a mirror and reflects into the thinker that which they think into it.
Hmm.
I
That
just
is,
love that one. I adore that one. That one has always struck a chord with me because it always reminds me that this is my truth. What I'm experiencing is what I actually believe, not what I say that I believe.
Hmm.
when do you release a prayer into the law in your mind?
Immediately, like literally, as the words are being spoken, you're releasing it.
Using it.
As you're thinking it, you're releasing it. I don't go back and I don't think about that word choice that I had or anything like that. I just have to trust that that's part of the process. That is God. And, it is perfect in that moment as in all moments. So if I try and hold on to it, if I try and do anything, then I'm not trusting the process. So it's got to be
Hmm.
let go as soon as it's thought. And then once you let it go, you can change it again. And that's the best. Like if you don't let it go, you can't change it. Like that's the whole point of this is I do prayers all the time and I go, oh, didn't like that one, let's change it. Okay, next.
It's wonderful. Paul, you want to get the second to last question?
Yeah. What's your, if you could, what would be a takeaway for you to share with our audience?
Yeah, just experiment with this. Please, please, please experiment with prayer, experiment with new thought, with everything. Because I promise you, if you experiment with this and you really test it for yourself, you will find a philosophy that is even greater than
Hmm.
anyone can explain to you. This philosophy is not meant to be listened to forever. It is meant to be tested and tested and tested. And the more you test it, the more in love with this faith and philosophy you will be, and the more you will create just your perfect life.
That sounds like
Absolutely.
Ernest Holmes perfectly, because he said to his practitioners, throw all your books away. Now go out and do this.
Yeah.
Experiment with it, experience it.
Yeah, that's the truth of it is that, if you're not experimenting with it, start.
Mm.
Sometimes it's okay, and it's okay to begin with baby steps. It's okay to start with that prayer for a parking spot. It's okay to start with a prayer
Hmm.
for money, for whatever you want. But start somewhere. Take that leap of faith. I know a lot of people are afraid of that first prayer, but you know, and if you are, that's okay too. But just test it. Like, what's the
Yeah.
worst that can happen? You find that prayer didn't manifest the way that you wanted it to. Great, you still manifested something. Now go
Hmm.
out and manifest something that you do want. I manifest things each and every moment of every day, and sometimes they're not exactly what I pictured, in the way that I pictured it. And so I change my prayer and I do a new prayer, and each prayer is complete unto itself, of course, but I just do a new
Hmm.
prayer and then I get a new experience. And, sometimes it can be scary, but I promise if you just trust the process and trust God, it'll work out even more amazing than you could have imagined.
Yeah, prayer is like your little toddler. They get up, they fall down, they keep going. And before you know it, they're walking, running, and they're out the door. That's with prayer.
Yeah, yeah, you will find that, start with one. Just
Hmm.
start with one. Just like
So,
a toddler starts with one step. You'll be running in no time at all.
so how can people find you?
How
I
can
mean,
people find me?
Yeah, I mean,
Whoa.
you're a great talker. I mean, we know that ocspiritualcenter.com is where you reside at with your mom and in the prayer stuff. But
Yeah.
you go,
So I was gonna make the joke of, you can find me at my house. I'm here almost every day with my baby. Um,
we don't put that out on the internet much.
but the truth is, you can find me at the OC Spiritual Center. You can find me at ocspiritualcenter.com. I try and do power talks about once a month, twice a month. I'm on there for short little 5-minute snippets. If you love to give that a listen, they're I think a lot of fun. But that's my own opinion of me. I think I'm fun. But yeah, you can hear some other amazing speakers on there. You'll get an amazing prayer if you go there. Every service has a great prayer. Every service is either led by Dr. Jim Terrell or Reverend Janet Moore. They are incredible speakers that will share incredible ideas for you. And if you have youth in the Orange County area and you'd love for them to be a part of a teen group, find us there. You can email us at prayers@cslnm.org and
Or go to the website.
or go to the website, and we can talk to you all about that process too. I help run the program with Reverend Janet Moore.
And there's another thing is that go there to the site, because I think tomorrow night Reverend Janet's going to be teaching classes. So I think the first class is free if you want to check out this specific philosophy. This is a philosophy. Go to ocspiritualcenter.com, check it out. And then, of course, all of our other reverends that we've had on also have classes, but I can speak to the one that we're having on Wednesday because I know you'll be helping to teach that, I believe.
Yeah, I assist in all those classes. I teach some of them, and they're a lot of fun. I will tell anyone who's looking for their next step, if you haven't taken a CSL class, take one. It's like the coolest thing because, one, you're going to meet a group of like-minded people. Two, you're going to make friends, because when you share these things with other people that you're going to share in these classes, you're going to make friends. And, some of them are lifelong friends. My best friend comes from this philosophy. I've known him since I was 18.
Thank you. No.
It's like 20 years now or something. And so it's a lot of fun when you get to join in classes. One, you'll see what you actually believe and what you're creating. Two, you will experience a demonstration. I guarantee it. And three, you're going to meet awesome, like-minded people. So take a class. They're pretty fun.
Well, that's the end of our show. I'm Reverend Rich. You are
Reverend Paul.
Where can they find you?
I am at iamspiritalive.com.
And we are Prayers Radio, and you can check us out. And I do have some of Kyle's talks on Prayers Radio if you want to listen to just the radio part of it, which is on Prayers Radio. So we got all those talks.
And Rich, you'll put the show notes down below so everybody can reach him too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So everybody say, we have to pray out.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, am I praying out for us?
Yes,
you are.
Please.
Perfect. Please. Wonderful. So thank you, God. Thank you for this just incredible experience. Thank you for these wonderful hosts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm in such gratitude of just this infinite life, of this wonderful experience, of the power of prayer, of this great conversation. I'm just in so much gratitude, God. Thank you. And so as we move forward from tonight, let us just recognize and declare, let us actually declare that we move forward in a new state of love, in a new state of just experience, and in a new state of gratitude, that each and every one of us have opened our ears, opened our heart, opened our mind, and allowed ourselves to experience something new. And that in that experience, we get a greater experience of life. That we are open to being present here and now and experiencing the fullness of God. We know that this life is infinite, and so we experience the infinite. We know that as love is infinite, we just allow ourselves to experience that. The joy of it all is here for us to experience. And so we say, yes, God, and thank you, God. I release this prayer here and now, knowing that as it was spoken, it was already so, and so it is.
And so it
So
is.
it is.
Yay. Thank you,
We'll see you
Kyle.
later.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
guys. It was a lot of fun.
it. You bet. We'll see you next time. I'll see you in church.